Have you ever wanted to know how much someone spent on their outfit only to be told, I don't know?
How much your fit cost? Start with the hat. How much the hat?
I don't know.
Yo, how much the glasses, right?
I don't know.
Have you ever asked someone where they got their food from only to be told, stop dick riding?
Some niggas drive to work, right? Some niggas ride their bike to work. Some niggas even ride the bus to work. But look, you need to stop riding my dick.
Have you ever seen someone make a post about them being sober for 4 years, only for you to ask them for some advice on how you can also beat your own addiction, only to be told, and I quote,
Be yourself, find your own inspiration, get your own wave, and quit trying to ride mine. That's a feminine trait. Get off my dick.
Okay, this is getting out of hand. Gatekeeping is something which I find truly fascinating. It's more prominent now that we're all interconnected by the internet, but it's truly comedic what people will be overprotective about. Both understandable and ridiculous, but my biggest problem is that people don't know how to gatekeep. Like many things, there's an art to this. To understand this art, we must take a deeper look, but before we do that, it's always important to define the word we're using. So, gatekeeping. You see what I did there? That's gatekeeping. If I were to ask you to think about some historical examples of gatekeeping, the Trojan horse would probably come into mind. A quite literal example of gatekeeping by keeping invaders from pillaging a city by restricting their passage with a large gate. But I'd like to bring your attention to a more recent and currently ongoing case of gatekeeping. The world's most expensive painting might just also be the world's most expensive gatekeep. The Mona Lisa is a portrait painted by Leonardo da Vinci, a world-renowned Italian polymath, which basically just means that his knowledge goes beyond just one subject. He's basically a jack of many trades. Anyway, the painting was commissioned by Lisa's husband, a true romantic gift, but unfortunately it was never delivered to his intended receiver. So what happened? Well, at some point da Vinci was invited by the King of France at the time, Francis I, to do some interior designing. And supposedly he took the painting with him in hopes to finish it, but unfortunately that would never get to happen because he died 3 years later in 1519. Now I know what you're thinking, this is where the story went all wrong. But fortunately for da Vinci, he didn't go by himself, he had his assistant with him, Francesco Melzi, and in the case of his passing, his assistant would inherit all of his assets. But you see, da Vinci had 4 assistants, and the Mona Lisa was already owned by another assistant named Salai. The fate of the Mona Lisa was in his hands, and he decided to sell the painting to King Francis. Now I can't tell you if this was a good thing or not, but what I can tell you is that this one action has led to a 500-year-long gatekeep. The painting then proceeded to go on what can only be described as a greasy neck tour, getting passed around from block to block like a stolen chain. The painting was in Clos-Lucé where da Vinci was residing. It was then moved to the Chateau d'Amboise after King Francis I purchased it. Then it was relocated to another castle, the Chateau de Fontainebleau. 100 years later, the new King of France decided to move it again to the Chateau de Versailles. And lastly, it was moved to the Louvre during the French Revolution. One thing to note is that the painting didn't really have much notoriety. There were only a few people who knew about the importance of it. And here's where the story takes a turn. You see, it wasn't very apparent, but clearly Italy wasn't really a fan of all of these shenanigans, mainly the fact that France was in the possession of a portrait made by an Italian painter of an Italian woman commissioned by an Italian man. Some people thought that the painting belonged in an Italian museum, and one of these people just so happened to work at the Louvre. The thing about life is, when you're being gatekept, you have 2 options, either fall a victim to it or do something about it. In the year 1911, August 21st, the painting went missing. An investigation was started to find the culprit. The first suspect was a French poet, Guillaume Apollinaire, who was promptly arrested. To take the heat off himself, he implicated his friend, Pablo Picasso, as the possible criminal. And yes, that is the one and only Picasso. But neither of them were the ones responsible for this. The real culprit was a man named Vincenzo Perugia. As an Italian patriot, he believed that the painting belonged in Italy, so he took matters into his own hands. 2 years later, he managed to make contact with the director of the Uffizi Gallery in Florence, Italy, Giovanni Poggi, where he attempted to get his money's worth for his patriotic triumph. But unfortunately for Perugia, Giovanni didn't really share his enthusiasm. He had a different moral compass, and he began plotting against him. First he took possession of the painting, and then he made a call to the police to deal with the scraps, aka Perugia. In the end, the gatekeepers won. The painting was safely retrieved and returned back to France. It's valued to be priceless, but some say it's worth somewhere around $1 billion, which would make this one of, if not the most expensive gatekeep.
I find niggas like you really interesting, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
this spot is kind of like a personal thing to me. You get what I'm saying? It's just like a personal vibe. You feel me? What's really crazy is you wouldn't have even wanted this if you ain't see me post it. You get what I'm saying? I don't even think you're really hungry like that, to be honest, bro. So go ahead, find you something to eat, bro. Open your fridge up or something, bro. This is not the fridge, this is the internet. You know what I'm saying?
Now, I know that many of you feel inspired after learning all about France's gatekeeping powers. I also thought that all they were known for was the white flag, but clearly I've been underestimating them. But how can we all become more like France? I'm glad that you asked, because I'm here to help. Welcome to the Gatekeeping Masterclass. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think that people truly know how to gatekeep. Gatekeeping food, fashion, music, that shit is outplayed. Let me give you guys some recommendations. Here's a guide on how to become a true gatekeeper. Gatekeep restroom locations. This is more effective against tourists and the legally disabled, with the only exception being people who have Alzheimer's. Only because their brain is already gatekeeping their memory, so they'll probably forget whatever you tell them in like 5 seconds. Gatekeep your lottery winning ticket from the lottery commission. You're already a winner, you don't need no one else's validation. Don't let anyone dictate what you are, ever. Gatekeep medicine, especially inhalers. Why do you need help breathing when we all breathe the same air? Quit being a clown and grow up. Gatekeep the contents of foods and drinks. I don't care if you're allergic. Deal with that shit yourself. That has nothing to do with me. Do this especially if you're a waiter. Gatekeep food from your pets. They should go find that shit themselves like the good old primal days. And speaking of food, this same thing also applies to babies. Gatekeep breast milk. They have the same 24 hours in a day to get food just like everyone else, but they expect their mom to bring it to them on a silver spoon. It's time to grow up. Gatekeep your plans for the day, the week, the whole year. Don't let people know your next move. Why do they want to spend so much time with you? Do they enjoy your company or something? You don't find that odd? You don't find that suspicious? Gatekeep the health status of a loved one. If someone asks how they're doing, tell them to get off your dick. If they try to pay for the treatment, tell them no thanks because you don't accept charity. Gatekeep your newborn child's name. Why do people want to know how to address your child? Report those predators to the police immediately. Gatekeep medical results from your patients. Why do they want to know how to treat their diseases? So they can become healthy like you? Yet again, copying your style. I'll tell you what though, this lack of originality is the true disease. Gatekeep your passport from airport security. Why are they so interested in who you are? Think about that. Gatekeep your skill gap. If you don't know how to swim and you can feel yourself drowning and someone asks you, yo, do you need some help? Tell them to mind their own business. All they're trying to figure out is what you're capable of doing. Don't let them know what can or cannot kill you. Are you guys finally getting an idea of what gatekeeping is truly about? Look, I can keep going, but I'm gonna keep those to myself, and you probably already know why. If you need more help than this, then I'm sorry to say, but you're a lost cause. Like, you don't belong here. Leave.
Damn, bro, how you another man riding another nigga dick, bro? Get off my dick, bro. Fall back, my nigga. You only want this shit because you see me with it, nigga. Eat something else tonight, bro. You don't want this shit, bro. You're not hungry, bro. Get off my dick, nigga.